Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. I'm your host, Tina Lapp. I've been in real estate education for over 30 years, helping individuals enter and thrive in their real estate careers.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Thinking of real estate, but caught up in a full-time job and don't think you have time? Well, stick around to hear the story of Heavenn Perez. Heavenn thought about real estate since she was young and finally made the leap while working another full-time job. After closing 10 transactions in her first year, she fully transitioned and wished she had done it sooner. Stick with me to hear her inspiring story. We are here today with Heavenn Perez. Heavenn, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you're from, what company you're with?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Heavenn Perez. I'm in Medina, Ohio, and I am with Century 21 Transcendent Realty.
That's awesome, Heavenn, and thank you for being with us today. We're going to have some fun. I want to start with understanding, what were you doing before you got into real estate?
So before I got into real estate, Tina, I was actually working a full-time job. I was in a manufacturing company. We designed gear for firefighters, and I was doing that for about 7 years. I was a production team leader, managing 4 teams.
Wow. So you had a pretty big corporate job. So what inspired you to make the switch to real estate?
So what inspired me to make the switch to real estate? It's always been in my mind since I was a little kid. It actually has been in my family for years. My grandfather actually was a very successful broker, and he was doing it for a while. And he would take me, my brother, and my sister out on his appointments. We would hang out in his office. It was so interesting to me that when I was little, I told myself, this is the career that I am going to pursue. This is me.
Wow. Wow. That is so cool. So you've just always had it in your blood. Was there a specific moment, like you knew real estate was for you? Was
Yeah.
there a specific moment or anything that happened that said, now's the time?
When I got older, yes, I was working at the manufacturing company.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was there for 7 years. I was getting older, and I sat down with my dad and I told him, hey, Dad, I need a change. I need to pursue real estate. This is my future and this is what I want to do. And he said, let's do it then.
Let's do it then. That's awesome. So you decided to take classes. Can you walk us through the process of getting your license? Because a lot of our audience are thinking about starting a real estate career. I'm sure many of them haven't been in the classroom in a long time. Walk us through that process.
Yeah, so it actually started with doing some research. Like I said, me and my dad sat down. We figured out what schools, were good. We read the reviews. My dad actually found Hondros online. And the
Okay.
reason I went with Hondros was because they offered online classes. And at the time, I knew, Tina, that was my only option that I had, because I
Yeah.
was working a full-time job and I couldn't quit right off the rip. So I said, okay, they offer online classes. And I read the reviews; they were great. And I said, okay, Dad, this is the school I will go to. So right there, I signed myself up, and I had the courses, right there. They emailed me the courses, and I had them.
That's great. And you were working full time.
Yes,
So
I was.
when you went through, I think 120 hours. So how did you get it done?
It did take me a little bit of time to get it done.
Okay.
I would work from 6 to 2:30 every day, and once I got off of work at 2:30, I would come home, and from 3 on, I was doing those classes, Tina.
Wow, that is such discipline, and that's great. So how long did it take you to get through them?
It took me about a year. It took me about a
Okay.
year to get
Yeah.
it was just kind of long, but like I said, it was self-paced. I was teaching myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's okay. It was a year, and that's what it
Yeah.
took.
And it worked for your schedule, and you were working a full-time job while you were going through those. So it's an awful lot. You did all online.
Yep.
Um, what was the biggest challenge for you getting through the courses?
My biggest challenge, was there was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
information that you have to put, in your mind and remember it. And I didn't think I was going to remember all that information in that, amount of time. And it was very hard for me to remember all of that information. I had to go over notes, flashcards, the comp you cram through the Hondros online courses, which really helped me. But I had to sit there and study for hours, which was
Yeah.
very challenging for me.
Yeah. But you did it, and here you are with your real
Yes.
estate license, and you're rocking it. So
Yes.
you get through the classes, you're like, "Yes, okay, I've got my license now." What did you expect going into your first year?
Honestly, Tina, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew in my mind that I wanted to become successful enough to be able to quit my full time job.
And do you still have your full-time job today, your other full-time job?
I do not. I got the
So he
opportunity to quit that job because I became so busy in what I was doing with real estate that I got the opportunity to quit.
How long after getting licensed did you quit your full-time job? Your other and I keep saying your other full-time job, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I think it was about a year and a
Okay.
half. I want to say a year and a half.
Okay. All right. And so how long after obtaining your real estate license did you close your first transaction?
It took me 4 months, Tina, to close my first real estate transaction.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Um, and did you find it was difficult to establish credibility as a new agent, or was it never an issue for you?
It was never an issue for me to establish credibility. The brokerage I chose, Century 21 Transcendent Realty, right when I walked in, they provided me with leads. Our database is so big. I kid you not. When I walked in, they showed me they had 18,000 leads in their database, Tina, to call. To call.
Wow.
And they gave me scripts. We did script training. And before I was asking my broker, can I make calls? Can I make calls? And he said, I want to hear you on the phones first with me. I want you to practice with me. And then you can, go on your own and start doing calls. And I said, okay. So me and him, we sat down, we practiced. I think Wednesdays we had script training night. And, it was very successful to where he said, here's 18,000 leads. Go ahead and call them
Wow.
and make something happen.
Wow. And so it sounds like your brokerage provided some real world training in order to get started, which it sounds like was super valuable for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They
That's
provided me with the leads, the technology, the scripts, the objection handling. They told me what to say to potential clients and how to handle objections. They taught me it all.
wow. And so here you are, you have 18,000 people to call. So you got something to do for a while. How'd you find your first client? Was it through those leads?
Absolutely. It was through those
Yeah.
leads. I was disciplined. I time blocked every day when I got off work at 2:30. I
Yeah.
went home and I started making calls I made calls for 3 hours from 3 to 6. And my first client was in the team pond. We call them the team pond. They were in there and I called, and the first call didn't go so well. They just told me they were browsing, typical. Okay.
Yeah.
So I set them up on a search based off what they were looking for, and I continued to follow up. I followed up with them on a weekly basis, asked, hey, am I sending you what you want to be looking at? And we started building a relationship to where they said, hey, we can go view this home, and I said, let's go do it. Um,
Yeah.
so that's how I got my first client.
That congratulations for
Thank you.
sure. So you have these leads. What else were you doing to market yourself or are you doing now that seem to be most effective?
Yeah, so social media is huge. I do social media as well. Our Century 21 Transcendent Realty Facebook page, it has such a big platform, Tina, that I post 1 minute
Great.
videos, just tips and tricks on the home buying and the selling process. And I kid you not, I'll get over 30 to 50,000 views on one video.
Wow.
So I'm definitely doing that to market myself, but also there's other opportunity avenues in our office. Being we work with veterans, senior citizens, and corporate transfers, and those leads are also provided to us within the company.
Okay, so lots of different leads and opportunities. Is there a specific niche that maybe you've taken to that you found most of your leads from that's been particularly successful for you?
So honestly, it's going to be our platform, our database we have, also my sphere. So I actually got to do a deal with
Okay.
my sister. She helped me, which was pretty cool. That deal
Yeah.
was cool. I'll remember that, forever. And then
Great.
also another client that I was working with in the very beginning, she was like my second client. She referred me to one of her friends who was looking to sell their home, and we actually got the opportunity to sell her friend's home last year.
Congratulations. So, are referrals important to you? Do you get a lot of referrals?
Absolutely. Referrals are huge in this business.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So, what about open houses? People are on both sides of the fence on open houses, whether they're successful or not. What's your perspective on that?
So I really do like open houses. I found out that, I learned that you have to do consistent follow up, though. Make sure you are getting their name, their phone number, their email address if you can, so you could put them in your database and,
Yeah.
start sending them things. Because even if they aren't looking to buy right now, they are looking to buy in 6 months, 12 months down the road. And I also like open houses because it's a face to face interaction to
Yeah.
where it's not just me picking up the phone calling somebody. They can actually see me. So I do like open
Yeah.
houses. And like I said, the follow up is where it's at. You have to be consistent and follow up with these people consistently.
Yeah, for sure. And them getting to meet you in person. I mean, you're delightful. Like being able to show your personality and you're a real person. I bet works really well for you.
Yes.
Um, so what would you say were your biggest challenges during your first year?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, one of my biggest challenges within my first year was if I had a client that wanted to go see a home, I would have to schedule them in the afternoon because I was still working a full time job. I couldn't
Right.
schedule them in the morning. So,
Yeah.
it had to be in the afternoon or the evening. And I didn't always look professional, at my full time job to go show a home when I was when I needed to. So
Yeah.
I would leave work at 2:30. I would go home, change my outfit, make sure I looked professional and presentable. And then I would go show homes. And these homes were about 45 minutes to an hour away from where I was living, where I lived. So here I go. Driving an hour to show a home and then I drive an hour back. And yet I'm still trying to, at the same time, make my calls, lead gen. I'm still trying to find clients every single day. And I think, Tina, that was one of the biggest challenges for me. And then I would have
Yeah.
to, wake up in the morning and go back to work at 6 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, yes, and you must have been exhausted, and hence why you made the change, right? So and
Yes,
decided to get rid of one of those. Um,
right.
so did you have a time where you had a question or something that you didn't know how to do it because you were new, and what'd you do about that?
Oh, that happens all the time. It still happens to me to
Still
this day.
happens.
You never know
Okay,
what you're gonna get.
right?
So yes, I have a mentor. I still have a mentor. And everybody in the Century 21 Transcendent, Realty office is my mentor basically. If I have a question, I can go into, anybody's office and say, "Hey, how do I do this?" or "What do I do next here?" I mean, everybody is very supportive and the guidance here is absolutely phenomenal. I wouldn't be sitting here today without them. Let's just put it that way. So, yes, I do have a mentor, and anything that if I have a question or whatever it is, I have multiple people to ask.
And that you are so fortunate. That's so valuable to have that call a friend for an old time reference. But yeah, have
Right.
that somebody available. Um, can you remember any particular transactions that were challenging or that you needed to call in more support on?
Yes, I have a story. Yes. So there was I had a friend. She was going through a divorce situation. And I had known her for a very, very long time. I actually worked with her prior. So
Okay.
she called me and she told me, "Hey, my divorce is going through, and I need you to come and sell my property." And I said, "Absolutely, I would be more than happy to help you." So her husband or her ex was he was kind of standoffish at first because here I am. He doesn't know who I am.
Right.
He only knows me as his ex-wife's friend here to sell the home. He thought I was only going to be helping her and not him. So what we did was we called him into the office. We brought him in. We sat him down and we told him, "Hey, listen, we are here to represent both parties in this transaction. We are here to help you get the most for your property that you can possibly can. And we are going to help you, every step of the way. We are here to guide you." Um, and he said, "Okay." He was on board. I kid you not, Tina. He called me the next day and he said, "Hey, can you help me? Can you give me a referral on how, on to get the clutter out of my property?" And I said, "Absolutely." So we worked with him with that. Long story real short, the home did sell. It sold a couple months ago. Both parties were extremely happy with us. We actually got good reviews from them. And that was the final, part in their life where they can actually say the chapter's done. So
Yeah.
it was an honor to be part of that situation and to help those individuals out.
And way to take a challenging and very personal situation and make it right on behalf of both parties. Like,
Yes.
congratulations on that. And I'm
Thank you,
sure,
Tina.
you in real estate, a lot of times when you're working with buyers and sellers, they are going through some pretty big changes, right? And do you find that you're often supporting them and stay in touch with them? Like, how do you build those relationships?
Mm, absolutely. So I build those relationships by constant follow up,
Yeah.
staying in communication with them. And so if it's a new client, I'll set them up on a search. I'll see what they're looking for. I will start sending them properties that match what they're looking for. I will go ahead and call them a couple days after our conversation just to follow up, make sure I'm sending them what they want to be looking at. And if it's not what they want to be looking at, then I ask, what adjustments do I need to make? And I think right there that builds, trust and, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to, service you in the best way
Yeah.
I possibly can. I'm not pushy. I just want to help, So if there's
Yeah.
something I can help you do, I will absolutely.
That's great, Heaven. So several individuals in our audience are just getting started, considering a career in real estate. Everyone's afraid of making a mistake, right? Do you remember a mistake that maybe you made during your first year, or maybe a funny experience while you were still learning in your early days?
I have a couple funny experiences.
Okay.
Um, so I'll start with this one. So we were at an open house. This was one of my broker's listings. It was a very
Okay.
high-end luxury home.
Okay.
And here I come. We all look very professional, very nice. We walk in the front door and he goes, "Okay, shoes off." I take my heels off, but I have two different color socks on. Here we are trying to sell a nice home, and I have mixed match socks on. So all of us started laughing at me. And I'm like, "Can I just keep my shoes on?" He goes, "No."
No.
So here I am trying to sell this nice house in different color socks. Moral of the
That
story, don't wear different color socks.
Good. Well, and it's a great learning experience because I'm sure you probably come across that quite a bit where someone wants you to take your shoes off in their home, right?
Yes. So now I
Yeah.
make sure I have the same colored socks on before I leave the house.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, and thank you
You're
for
very
being candid
welcome.
with us. It's appreciated. Um, can you share some tips or tricks that have been particularly successful to you in finding clients?
Tips and tricks. So the one tip I can give anybody out there, Tina, is the brokerage you decide to go with is going to be your success or it's not going to be your success. So my one tip would be pick a brokerage who is a top producing, brokerage or has a top producing team. Make sure they're going to provide you with the leads, the technology, the training, the mentorship. Make sure that brokerage is going to give you that and give you the guidance and support that you need in this business. It's cutthroat out there, and it's either you're going to make it or you're not. So make sure you position yourself with professionals that have mastered this business and that are going to provide you with that training as well.
Yeah, so important and such wise advice for sure. And speaking of, when you got your license, did you interview several brokerages, and how did you find the one that you ultimately ended up going with?
Yes, so I went to Hondros recruiting night. And
Awesome.
Century 21 was not there. So I
Okay.
did meet with another broker and I told him, hey, I want to be in your brokerage. I think we would, I would be a good fit for you. When can I come in and check out your brokerage and see what you have to offer? And he
Mhm.
said, I'll follow back up with you in a couple of days. And I said, okay. Well, I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. So I picked up the phone and I called him and I said, hey, can we schedule an appointment for me to get in? And he told me straight out, no, because I don't think you're going to be a good fit in my office. He said, but I have a referral I'm going to give you. His name is Larry Steinbacher. He's with Century 21 Transcendent Realty. And I think you would be a great fit in his office. And I said, okay. I kid you not, Tina. Larry called me
Wow.
5 minutes later. So that broker did call Larry. Larry called me 5 minutes later and he talked to me like he already knew me. He said, hey, Evan, When are you available to come and check out my office? I heard you're going to be a great fit for us. And I said, whenever you can get me in. And he said, okay. So he got me in the next day. And when I went in, he showed me, what he has to offer. He showed me all the leads in our database. We have a recording studio, which I'm sitting in right now. So he showed
Oh,
me that. And I thought that was
great.
very, very cool.
Yeah.
He told me, we are a top producing team in the area. We sell over 100 homes per year, and we have been ranked in the top 1%, nationwide for the last decade. Here's our stats. Here's the leads. I'm going to give you all these leads to call. Um, and I said, you know what? This is it. This is for me right here. I said, how do I move forward? And he goes, give me your paperwork. I'll sign it right now. I think you would be a great fit for us. And I said, and I think you would be a great fit for me. We just hit it off right off the interview.
And I know he's very happy he found you. So
I hope so.
that's great. Yes, yes. And finding the right people to be surrounded by, that you're comfortable and that you feel like you're supported, so important. So really just love your comments there. So Heaven, we're going to jump into our lightning round. I'm going to
Okay.
ask you a question, a little personal, some fun stuff, 60 seconds or less. Just give me your thoughts. So the first one, is there a book or a podcast that you've read or either listened to that you'd recommend for the audience?
The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller.
Okay.
That's what I would
That's a good.
recommend.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. And is there a reason why?
Because that everything I do and everything I was taught is in that book. Time blocking, lead generation, professionalism, everything in that book it's going, if you take what's in that book and do the things he's saying, it will help you. So I do absolutely recommend that book.
Yeah, the books, the training, like everything out there, the training you get at your brokerage, just take advantage of those. And I know you did. That's great. Um, if we had a time machine and you could go back to the day you started this journey, what would you do differently and why?
Um, that's a good question. And off the top of my head, I would say that I should have quit my job a lot sooner, and maybe got into the business sooner.
Yeah.
But I'm still young, so that's good.
You've got time. You've got
Right.
time.
But
You
the
have a
one thing
great
I should
career
have
ahead.
done, Tina, was quit my job a lot sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. Um, and here you are, you've got all kinds of runway ahead of you, so we're just at the beginning. If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ooh. Um, I don't know if I can just choose one person. I would probably, if I could have dinner, I would probably just choose everybody in the Century 21 Realty office because
Nice.
without their guidance and their support, like I said, I wouldn't be here today. And it doesn't go unnoticed. I am very thankful for being on this team. And I'm very thankful for everything they give me, the guidance, the support, the mentorship. It's truly helped. And like I said, it doesn't go a day unnoticed.
What a fabulous answer. That's great. That's great. And I hope when they're listening they hear that. We'll make sure we pass that along. What'd you do at work yesterday?
Oh, my daily routine. So I came in the office in the morning, like I always do. I'm here pretty much every day. And I time blocked, lead gen. I made phone calls. I sent a couple properties to some clients. I followed up with some clients. Today, after our interview, I'm going to go back and follow up with the clients that I sent homes to yesterday. So just my daily routine, time block and lead generation.
Perfect. Perfect. And where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's the future of Heaven Perez?
Where I see myself, Tina, in 5 years. Our office also offers different opportunity avenues, and we do relocation in our office. And I see myself joining that relocation team, selling luxury homes, hopefully doubling or tripling my income to where I could be a six-figure agent. And hopefully this doesn't take me 5 years, Tina. Hopefully I could do this in 2 or 3 years. That's what I'm
Yes.
anticipating.
And you know what? If you can see it, you can do it. And I have no doubt that you're going to get there.
Thank
So,
you.
where can listeners and viewers find you, follow your journey, and engage with you?
Yeah, so they're going to find me on our Century 21 Transcendent Realty Facebook page. Absolutely. Those are where, I post a lot of things on there, my 1 minute videos, tips and tricks. But they could also find me on my own Facebook page, Heavenn Perez. And they can find me on Instagram as well, Heavenn Perez _ Realtor. And same thing with TikTok and LinkedIn, Heavenn Perez Realtor.
Perfect. And any final thoughts for an individual who's considering a career in real estate and they ask you what you think? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it
that's
and
great.
and start now. Don't start later.
Yep, love it. Well, Heaven, you are absolutely lovely. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you,
10
Tina.
transactions your first year and up from there. So you appreciate the time and good luck on your continued journey.
Thank you so much, Tina, and thanks for having me today.
Thanks for listening to Unlocking Real Estate My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights gave you that extra spark to keep moving forward in your real estate career. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners like you. And don't forget you can watch this or other episodes on our YouTube channel. We'd also love to hear from you. Send your comments, key takeaways, or recommendations for future guests to unlockingrealestate@colibrirealestate.com.